At the time of this recording, I've created and published 380 videos here on YouTube since my very first video back in 2009.
This will help keep everything nice
and I realized that this list might be a little bit daunting, especially if you are brand new here, or even if you are a subscriber and you're a regular to the channel. So I wanted to pull together a few highlights from my favorite videos. Now, if you and I met for coffee and you asked me to share what are some of my important lessons that I have learned in the years that I have been supporting over 300 families as a doula and working as a childbirth educator, then these are some of the tips that you would find. A couple of them are actually for the partner. So it's great for whatever role you play in an upcoming birth, whether you are going to be a support person or the person giving birth, then these clips are going to be something that you'll want to watch. So it used to be very common practice to encourage women to stay in bed in labor so they can be monitored, so that they can be managed. And this was even carried through all the way until pushing and birth, where many women were giving birth laying flat on their backs. So this practice is not currently supported by research. Research actually tells us that movement in labor is very helpful. Helps the baby move through the pelvis, helps labor along and progress, and that giving birth on your back is not really the best position for birth. Sitting on the toilet is an awesome position for labor and birth, but there's a couple things I want to tell you about to make this position more effective and more comfortable. First of all, when you're sitting on the toilet, sit just like you would if you were going to go to the bathroom. That means pants down, underwear down. It allows us to relax our pelvic floor, relax our bottom half, and make those contractions more effective. The other thing I like to do when sitting on the toilet in labor is make that bathroom as much of a laboring cave as possible. Turn off the big overhead lights, set up some battery operated candles or a string of lights. If you don't have that, maybe just leave the door cracked and the lights on high in the room so that you can just have some filtered light. What we're really going for is to have a comfortable place to spend some time, because contractions when you're sitting on the toilet sometimes can get intense, and that's what we're looking for. Our goal is really to get us closer to the end, and sometimes the toilet can be just the thing. You cannot predict when labor is going to start just by how your cervix is presenting at that cervical exam. Here's a real example. If you go into your appointment and find out your cervix is closed and hasn't started facing, no change has been made to your cervix, does that mean that you won't go into labor that night? Nope. You could go into labor even after the appointment. It does not indicate when labor is going to start. What if you go into the appointment and find out that you're 2 or 3 centimeters dilated? You might get really excited and think this is a prediction that labor is going to start any minute. Is that true? Nope. Doesn't mean that's true either. People can stay 2 or 3 centimeters dilated for up to a week, 2 weeks, for a long amount of time. Cervical checks do not predict the future. They cannot tell you when labor is going to start. If you're wondering about all those other little signs like the mucus plug, baby dropping, diarrhea, nesting, well, those all fall into a maybe category. By this, I mean signs that tell us that labor might be close or your body are starting to prep for labor, but it doesn't mean necessarily that you are in labor. Now, if you say these 3 signs quickly with me, you can easily remember them. Ready? Longer, stronger, closer together. Longer, stronger, closer together. That means you're in labor. Lamaze breathing is not a prescriptive set length of in and out. It's really just the focusing on the breath. So whatever is working for you is going to work for labor. Okay, let's do 3 breaths together. So I call this first tip the man in the mirror. And it might be the hardest of our tips, so I'm going to start there, because if you can master this, you're going to go a long way in being an excellent partner. So what it means is really being a demonstration, a role model, a mirror to your partner in labor. Going through labor, there's a lot of strange things that happens. Let's start off with the breathing. An effective method of breathing for pain management, for coping, for staying calm and relaxed is that deep breath in and that deep breath out. And sometimes it looks a little strange and feels a little strange. So if dads, you can do the same kind of breathing, if you can model that breathing for your partner, it will make it so much easier for her to get the right breathing down. So if you see her breathing really shallow, breathing really fast paced, and you just go and carry on with that long, slow in and out breath, it will help her visually see the breath that she can be doing to have more control over her pain, control over the situation, and calm. So for the one hand or the flat counter pressure, we are going to put our flat hand, kind of like a blade, right up against the lower back. It's actually like top of butt, lower back, where those meet, right here. So applying pressure for as much as we can. You could even do one hand like this. And the one hand or flat method is going to be great if we want to provide more of a gentle counter pressure. So it's not one that's going to be used if she's experiencing a lot of back pain or needing some extra pressure. It's a great one to start with because she can let us know whether or not we need more pressure. Epidurals don't take away all the sensation every time. So it is fairly common to have some type of painful sensation from an epidural, not full coverage. Sometimes people have one side that's not covered as much, or they call it like a window or a breakthrough spot of pain. That is fairly common, that it's not necessarily just guaranteed that the epidural will take away pain. The other thing is that epidurals usually don't take away pressure. And as a baby is coming down through our vagina, we feel a lot of pressure and it can't be taken away. So at the end of birth, when you're about to push or during pushing, it is very likely that you will feel pressure even if you have an epidural. So it's good to know some coping mechanisms. I always recommend a childbirth class. Just if you experience any kind of discomfort, you have some ways to cope. I hope you found some good takeaways in the video. If you could do me a favor and leave me a comment with just one thing that really stood out in that clip list that you just watched. Was there one that you'll remember? I would love to hear from you. I respond to every comment, so please leave one. Also, that playlist that I mentioned, I'm going to put it right here so that you can check out any of the other videos and kind of scroll through if you want to take a deeper dive into any of them. And in that last clip, I recommended taking a childbirth class. If you are in need or you're looking to take a childbirth class, I'm going to put the 2 online childbirth classes that I teach down below in the description if you want to check it out. I would love to see you inside those classes. Till next time.